This is the brand new 9th Doctor Aztec Sonic Screwdriver from Nawya Replicas. This is also the brand new 9th Doctor Aztec Sonic Screwdriver from Nawya Replicas. One of these is aluminium and the other is the stainless steel edition. Welcome back to the order, you Doctor Who enthusiasts. It's a strange time to be a Whovian. On the one hand, we face the potential cancellation of our beloved Doctor, but on the other hand, we have more affordable Sonic Screwdriver replicas coming to the market than ever before. So I'm going to focus on the positives and enjoy reviewing these new additions from Nawya Replicas. As ever, we'll look at the packaging, the design and build quality of each screwdriver, the electronics, an overall comparison between the two editions, the price, and we'll also see how these look when stacked up against a Rubberto Replica's 10th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver. Hopefully by the end of this video I'll have helped you decide whether you need to add one of these to your collection, and if so, which one. If you enjoy this video, it would be amazing if you could leave a like and subscribe.
Help a veteran get a warm meal.
Alonzi. To begin, we'll start with the packaging. As you can see, the Sonics come in another delightful box from Nawya Replicas, though this one is considerably smaller than previous releases. The artwork is delightful with a small image of the Sonic with 9th Sonic using the original NuWho style branding and the colouring of the 9th Doctor's time vortex in the background. On the front, the only difference between the two editions is a small sticker that clarifies whether it's the steel or aluminium edition inside. On the back we have the TARDIS and the 9th Doctor's time vortex, and the central part of the box has the infamous crackle design. One simply pulls the tab at the bottom and the inner tray comes out. Inside, Nawya have once again outdone themselves with the instructions, with the 9th Doctor artwork on one side including the Bad Wolf TARDIS, and these beautiful schematic style instructions on the other side. We're almost at the point where you could really make some spectacular wall art by framing all of the Nawya instructions from the various screwdrivers. I say almost because, as we all know, the only really good instructions are destroyed instructions. When these Sonics arrived, I immediately contacted my supplier to see what explosives could be obtained at short notice. Safe to say my wife had a few choice words, and after complaints from our neighbours, I was instructed to dial down my efforts and potentially even just leave these instructions be.
Never!
With certain limitations in tow, I wondered what would be the best way to dispatch these delightful instructions. And as I was sitting watching one of my least favourite Capaldi-era episodes of Doctor Who, it suddenly hit me. Archery. Flaming archery. Suck it, Kevin Costner. Carrying on, we get the closest thing to legal gubbins with this disclaimer from Nawya. Ordinarily, I'd swerve this, but I really appreciate the special credit given by Nawya at the bottom. As we all know, not everybody gives credit where credit is due, and with all of that nonsense gone, we get into the Sonic itself, which we find nestled safely in this custom foam insert with a little faux plaque in the corner and the 9th Doctor's favourite saying. Going on to the Sonics, there's no other way to say this. They are fantastic.
Fantastic.
Conscious that people will probably have ordered one version rather than the other, let's take a look at them individually and then do a cheeky compare and contrast. Starting with the aluminium build, or aluminum for our American cousins, this thing is absolutely stunning. As a first impression, yeah, I'm sort of struggling to form the words to describe how impressed I am with the quality of this Sonic. The weight feels perfect, there's no sharp edges, the crackle looks and feels beautiful, and the whole thing just feels really solid. I'm gonna say it again, it's fantastic.
Fantastic!
Okay, let's take a closer look then from bottom to top. At the bottom we have the classic black tip, nothing more to report there. We move up to the metal section at the bottom, which has a very clean finish. Sticking with this section, this is where you get access to the batteries. Now my first tip would be to ignore the instructions, which recommended turning the black tip to the right. In fact, you want to turn the black tip to the left, unscrewing the bottom of the Sonic and giving access to the battery section, which takes 3 LR44 batteries. But I'd go one step further and I'd actually recommend removing the black tip completely. I found that when twisting the black tip, the metal section around the base is getting slightly scratched. To avoid this, Remove the black tip and just unscrew from the metal. Moving up, we have the ribbed section at the base of the crackle, which is really clean and well defined. And then we have the main body of the crackle. And damn it, it is just fantastic.
Fantastic.
I'm not sure if this has been painted on or if it's some kind of wrap, but either way, it looks amazing. The crackle is really well defined, really cleanly done, and it gives a slight texture to the body of the Sonic. There's definitely some kind of overcoat to protect the crackle, which gives a little bit of shine in certain light, but I'm 100% okay with that. There's the blue panel here, which I think could be acrylic, and the vibrant blue is a great choice by NuWho. Next to the blue panel, we have the micro switch housed in this raised casing, which maintains the organic feel of the Sonic, and the micro switch is very cleanly done. Moving up to the join between the emitter section and the main body, it's pretty perfect, with all of the teeth locking very smoothly in place, and then the actual emitter section is immaculate. Despite the tricky design of the hollow emitter with a central core, there's not one sharp edge. And then at the top we have this rich blue emitter bulb which houses one very bright light. There's no slider on this Sonic design, though the emitter does extend. All you have to do is pull the emitter out. There's just the right amount of resistance to make sure you don't accidentally break the Sonic by overextending it, and then closing the Sonic gives an equally satisfying click. Extending the emitter reveals the transparent chamber with black and red intertwined wiring in the core. Again, if I was going to really nitpick, I'd point out that the wire seems to be inside a core within a core, and there's some slight lines on the transparent tube, but I really don't care, because unless you're looking with a magnifying glass, it looks fantastic.
Fantastic.
Before we look at the electronics, let's take a quick look at the stainless steel edition. Now obviously this is technically the less show accurate version, but damn it, if it isn't a thing of beauty, then I don't know what is. As a starting point, the weight on this thing is incredible, and it gives this a really premium feel. It shares all of the design features of the aluminium edition, but the steel sections make this Sonic extra shiny. Quickly running from bottom to top, we have the same black tip and battery compartment at the base of the Sonic. The steel bottom is insanely clean and smooth, giving the Sonic a very fluid feel. The crackle on the stainless steel version is interestingly very different to the aluminium version. So let's dive in there. On this version, NuWho have created an incredibly fine crackle, with far more lines running through the crackle, but with each line being extremely thin. Close up, you can definitely make out the crackle, but from a distance, you'd almost be forgiven for thinking that the main part of the Sonic is one cream block. It has the same protective coating, which gives a slight shine in certain lighting, and NuWho have used the same blue acrylic strip, which just pops against the cream crackle. Again, the aluminium version is the more screen accurate of the two, but I really like the crackle on the steel edition too. The activation switch is again on the side of the raised bump, which houses the very cleanly placed micro switch. And then we have the emitter section, which is again very cleanly done with no sharp edges, and personally I really like the shine of the stainless steel. The emitter can be extended in exactly the same way by pulling the emitter out, and you get the same satisfying click when the emitter is in place. The transparent core is identical to the core seen on the aluminium version, with the black and red wires intertwined very neatly at the center of the core. I really like this steel version. I'm just going to throw that out there. I know it isn't 100% accurate because of the steel build, but damn it, this thing is beautiful. Turning to the electronics, NuWho have given us just one setting this time, which I know you might think is really unusual for them, but I think they've actually gone for accuracy over flair here. The Ninth Doctor's Sonic didn't really do that much, and we only ever saw it make one sound. So this is actually perfectly accurate. Pressing the micro switch activates the classic Sonic sound, and the blue is really bright on both the steel and the aluminium versions. There's no delay between pressing the switch and the Sonic activating, which is nice, and there's no difference in volume between having the Sonics in closed or extended modes. What I do like is that the sound has a bit of a pulse to it, rather than just a flat noise, and that's mirrored by a slight pulse in the light as well. If I was going to be critical, I'd say the volume is a little bit low, but to be honest, I'd be saying that for the sake of finding something negative to say here. Frankly, both of these Sonics are incredible, and if you've picked one up, you're not going to be disappointed. I did say that we'd take a quick look at these against a rubber-toed 10th Sonic, just mainly to see how the crackle looks on a rubber toe versus these. And if you look closely, the aluminium edition is definitely closer to the rubber toe style, which goes hand in hand with it being more screen accurate of the two, but I'd say that the NuWho crackle feels more durable than the rubber toe crackle either way. In terms of sound, the rubber toe is actually quieter than the NuWho versions and also slightly softer in tone. So let's talk price. If you picked one of these up from NuWho Direct, the price was $60 for the aluminium version and $75 for the steel version. In addition, there was postage on top at around $35, so we're talking an overall average of about $100. Frankly, given the quality of these Sonics, for that price, NuWho need to call the police, they have been robbed. You can of course pick these up from eBay, and the typical listings seem to have the aluminium version on sale for around £108, inclusive of postage, and around £160 for the steel version inclusive of postage. To compare that in US dollars, that's a starting price of around $150 going all the way up to $215. Quite the markup, but if ordering from NuWho isn't an option, I'd argue that it's still worth picking one of these Sonics up at that price when considering that most other replicas tend to start at around the £400 and above mark. So there you have it, guys. Overall, from a physical design standpoint, these things are fantastic.
Fantastic.
If you're looking for an affordable daily Sonic or a cosplay piece, you aren't going to go wrong if you pick one of these up. Whichever version you pick up is going to be personal preference. The aluminium is the more accurate of the two, but the steel version has a quality and premium feel to it that really makes it stand out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments and which one of these you'd pick up. I have zero regrets picking both versions up, and for me, NuWho have smashed it.